Okay, in this video I got two topics I want to cover and then something at the end. And so I'm going to try to get through this really fast. So we're going to just move along. Stay with me. We've been over this material before. I was asked about the poke, and did I think it was the mark of the beast? And I'm just going to tell you what I think, because this is just a biblical thing. This is about the only place you're going to find this information, what we call the mark of the beast. So let's just get right to it. And we've been over this before, but we're going to target this one thing, so just bear with me. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. The buildings of the temple. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us when these things shall be, the throwing down of the temple. Question 1. And what shall be the sign of thy coming? Question 2. And the end of the world, or the age. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take ye heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in divers places. All of these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall arise, and shall deceive many. And because the iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. This is happening now. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, then the end shall come. And when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. When you see it's not the abomination standing in the holy place. You stand in the holy place. When you see the abomination, you stand in the holy place. The holy place is your crown chakra. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray thee that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And here's an important verse. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. This is very important. Matthew 24:22. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Difference. This is a different timeline. Son of Man. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will be eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all of the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass, till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. Now here's why we're here. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man, not the Son of God, the Son of Man, be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. I'm going to stop here, and we're going to go look at the days of Noah. Okay, here we are at Genesis chapter 6. And it came to pass that when men began to multiply upon the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and took them wives of all that they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. And there were giants in the earth in those days and after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were old, men of renown. And God saw that wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination, the thoughts of his heart, was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he hath made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord, unmerited favor, grace. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. Noah was chosen because he was perfect in his generations. And that means he had not breeded with the sons of God. It was about DNA. All DNA had been corrupted. All of it. All flesh. Go back to Matthew 24 when it tells you that all flesh would be gone if those days were shortened. This is about DNA. Back over here at Matthew 24:22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. It's about the flesh. It's about the DNA. And that's what's going on now. Now, maybe before the flood, they were marrying and giving in marriage and corrupting the bloodlines. But today they're fast tracking it. And I don't know if you want to call that a mark of the beast. All I know is that's why the flood happened. It's because all the DNA was corrupted. Not just in man, but they were corrupting all DNA, just like they're doing now. They're destroying nature and trying to rewrite it in their image or another image, another symbol. I think of the Queen's Jubilee, when she pushed the little button and the DNA strand run down the sidewalk and up the tree of life. It was adding a third strand of DNA, the new mother, the new Madrid, the mRNA. RNA is carried by the feminine line. Males don't pass on RNA, females pass on RNA. So it will corrupt the generations. And so this battle is not over. They're still going to come at us in every way possible. Now I want to address another question I got. Well, actually several questions, because I have a lot of new subscribers with me, and this channel has been a journey. I am definitely not the same person that I was when I first came on YouTube. My first channel is gone. There are other channels that fragments remain of it, but my understanding and knowledge and view of life has definitely come a long way. It's been a journey. So for those of you who don't know, I'm just going to start at the beginning, and I'm going to address the fact about what I've been saying about dates, how that 3/11 and 9/11 went together. It was a ritual. That they're making a Cairo symbol, and there are two more dates, and that's going to be 6/11 and 12/11. Well, one, I am not calling dates for the returning of the Son of Man. I have been watching what the elite do in the heavens. And my brain, my pet peeve in life is patterns, because I see it in everything, and I hate repetitious things. Tell me something once. You don't need to repeat it to me. Don't tell me over and over again. It just really, it gets to me. The only thing I hated about school was they were repetitious year after year. And I get it. It was programming, right? We weren't educated. We were programmed. So I disliked that. But I easily see the patterns. And I found the patterns. I've been following them. So I would like to do a quick review. And we're going to jump back quite a number of years to around, well, really, we're going to go back to 9/11. Because that's when everything changed. It was just very subtle. We didn't realize the ritual of it all at the time. And everybody, regardless if you were one side or the other politically or religiously, it didn't matter. We all went down some kind of rabbit hole. A lot of us have been down many of them. And we've gone through several wake-up phases that I referred to as the dance of the 7 veils. There's 7 veils over our eyes, and we have to pull them off one at a time. And through these rituals and what they've been doing and these false flags, that's kind of been happening to us. They're initiating it. They're pushing the agenda. So I would like to take you back, and I'm going to show you why. What I have been noticing with what the elite are doing, and why I'm pretty sure about these dates. It's not something natural. It's not something that God's doing. It's something the elite are doing. So I'm not prophesying or anything like that. What I'm doing is following a pattern that they've laid out. Now, this is going to get crazy, so just hang on. We're going to go all the way back to 2004. I believe it's 2004. Oh no, 2010. We're going back to 2010, which is the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. Gulf of Mexico. It was done by BP Oil. I grew up in Mississippi, Alabama, here in Oklahoma, and in Texas. I predominantly lived on the Gulf Coast. I lived in Houston, and I spent my middle school years, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, in Mobile. And Mobile's sister city was Madrid. And the mayor at the time had changed it from Madrid to Havana in Cuba. When, if you know what a sister city is, it's a cultural thing. It's a cultural exchange. Decent-sized cities in America, they sister city to other European or just all over the world, really. And it's a cultural exchange thing. And I was kind of shocked that they changed it, because it was just a really odd thing to do. We were not having good relations with Cuba at the time. But Mike Dow, the mayor then, kind of kicked open the door and just did it. I don't think he had anybody's approval. He just did it. So it was Madrid. So I happen to know a lot about Madrid because of that. And there were repetition, and every year in school you learned this stuff. Again, cultural exchange. So Madrid was something in my vocabulary from very young. Not to mention the New Madrid, which is new mother. But Madrid is mother. So the motherland would be Madrid, Spain. Now, the BP oil spill, to me, I knew a lot about the cities and the Gulf Coast, and immediately it triggered me, because BP, B is 2 and P is 16. 216 is the number of the God for the Jews. This is a Russian film. It's called Pi by Darren Aronofsky. Generation P, Russian Generation Pi. Max is a reclusive mathematician who built a supercomputer that will not only provide him with the key to cracking the stock market, but may also reveal the true name of Jehovah, a discovery that could lead to the end of the world. His search, however, brings him to the attention of both Hasidic priests and Wall Street gurus. These Hasidic priests in this movie, they are trying to get him because to them the number of God was 216. This is the movie here. I suggest you watch it. It is very, very revealing. So BP oil was the God anointing oil. Okay? Now, also on the Gulf Coast was Corpus Christi, Texas, which is the body of Christ, and Padre Island, which is Father Island. So you have the Mother, Madrid, Mobile, and Padre Island, and then the body of Christ. And the Mississippi River, which is you miss Isis and Pepe. Pepe was the priest of Isis. They show you the little frog because he's amphibious. He moves from water, Pisces, to Earth, Virgo. He's water and earth, amphibious. Now, they did this spill. It began on the 20th of April, which is that 420 that we keep getting here. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill was an environmental disaster which began on 20th of April 2010 in the Gulf of Mexico. BP is British Petroleum. Everything we're going to be doing is going to kick back to BP 216 Britain, like the Queen's little DNA thing, and then you have this Deepwater Horizon thing. So I'm just watching this, and at the time, when I really started looking at it and putting all those pieces together linguistically, what they were doing, the New Madrid, the mother, the father, the child, I was also doing videos called The Ancient Pharaoh Show. And I did one that showed the Gulf of Mexico as flipped from the Mediterranean, and how the Nile was the land of Osiris, but the Mississippi River was the land of Isis, the father and the mother. They give birth to Horus, or Horizon, okay? Now, for a mother to give birth, you have to break the water. Well, on April the 20th, she was anointed. That BP God oil spilt on the Gulf of Mexico to give birth to the Corpus Christi, to the body of Christ. And this is their doing now. So they go on with their rituals, and I put together how the eclipse, which was the 9/11, 3/11 rituals, the 9/11 rituals, you took the two pillars of Freemasonry, which were the sun and the moon, and you eclipsed them into one pillar. The two become one. And it's an eclipse, which is the symbol of the Star of David, the triangle up and the triangle down. That's an eclipse. And so everything started with the 9/11 eclipse ritual. And it was a airplane, whether it was there or not is irrelevant. This is the ritual that most people contracted into. They agreed with it. They went along with it. You believed it. They believed in it. So that's what manifests here. This is the age of belief. You just got to believe, right? So everybody's going along with this eclipse ritual that sets everything in motion, puts a lot of people to sleep, starts waking others up. It's doing two things. So all of this is going to tie into what I call the twins. The twins are Gemini, which I didn't learn about till much later. I'm still back in 2010 with the Deepwater Horizon thing, showing how the Mediterranean and the Gulf of Mexico are related, what their relation is. I went through a bunch of Harry Hubbard's work on all of the Egyptian stuff that's here in America with Alexander Helios and Selena, which were the two children of Cleopatra and Mark Antony, and how they ended up over here, and how a lot of the writings, the Native American stuff, that blended with that. So this goes way, way back to this being the land of Isis. It was brought over here a long time ago. So then you had the 311 ritual in Fukushima, which was earthquake and water, the feminine axis, that earth and water ritual. And 311 and 911 oppose each other on the zodiac wheel. 911 is the last day of Leo, the first day of Virgo. It's that line between Leo and Virgo. It's the end of the age of Virgo as we moved into Leo, and are from the mutable cross to the fixed cross. And 311 opposes it at Pisces Aquarius, the end of Pisces, the beginning of Aquarius. And so 311, or March the 11th, is the last day of Pisces, or the last day of Aquarius, the first day of Pisces in our mundane day-to-day calendar. But in the processional calendar, it's the last day of Pisces, the first day of Aquarius. That can be a little confusing. You just have to look at it on the wheel and it'll make sense. Well, the other two dates to make that cross are 6/11 and 12/11, respectively, because it's a numbers game to them. We'll learn that in Pi. Everything with these elite people, it's a numbers game. They're very Pythagorean, Kabbalistic. That tends to be some of the magic they practice. So I did all of these New Madrid videos, and how Jesus done left Chicago and gone to New Orleans. That's the Mississippi River. And more things started happening. I was dropping down more rabbit holes, coming out the other side in a different place, in a different part of my journey here. And then astrology came along for me, and I realized astrology was alchemy, and what they were doing reverse. Instead of as above, so below, it's as below, so above ritual. And they're using the eclipse is going to make that, it makes the Aleph, the A, and the X, which is, if you look at it in one way, it is air and on the mutable cross, which is Gemini. And if you look at it in the reverse, it's Virgo on the mutable cross, both ruled by Mercury, the twins. So all of this started piecing itself back together, and I realized the eclipse done the seal in the heaven, but they have to seal it on the earth with what they're doing. And the next eclipse will involve the Chicago, New Orleans. Katrina was not part of that, because Katrina pushes the water inland. A hurricane pushes, you have this tidal surge and the water comes inland. So the earthquake water ritual, like Fukushima, will be when the levee breaks, when the New Madrid gives birth. We'll have a New Madrid earthquake, which will break the water of the Mississippi and birth the child into the Gulf of Mexico. It's the womb. The Gulf of Mexico is the womb. The word we use for the womb is matrix. A woman's womb is a matrix. That's where all things, where creation happens, is in the matrix. So whatever they're birthing is right here in the Gulf of Mexico. Whether it be their twins, Apollo and Artemis, or Theseus and Dionysus, we know not. But we're obviously headed in that direction. And this is the new mother. The mother for this age is Pisces. We're in Pisces. It's feminine, it's mutable, it's water, and it belongs to Europe. And Europe predominantly has taken over the world by their navies and their waters and their expeditions and their colonization. Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, Britain, all of them, all through the Netherlands, they all went all over the world. They took over Africa and India and the Americas, and they've colonized everything along with the Vatican and the Church. You got the two churches, actually. You got Peter and Paul. Paul is England and Peter is the Vatican. So they still have another what I call air fire ritual that should happen in Chicago, and a water earthquake water ritual that will happen at New Madrid down to New Orleans, or New Orleans, which it goes into some Catholic prophecies. New Orleans is New Orleans. Louisiana is Louis and Anna, Antoinette. So they were after it was named after the aristocracy, the royalty of the fleur-de-lis. You had the Valois and the Orleans. And the prophecies, there's a bunch of prophecies in their tradition, in the Catholic tradition, and it's called the return of the great monarch, when the white flower, the white lily, returns to power. Because at the same time, America, the American Revolution was going on, France, it triggered a revolution in France, where they beheaded Louis and Marie Antoinette. And the prophecy is Louis, he's the Valois, but Louis's brother was the Duke of Orleans. And so the prophecy is the lineage, the return of this king was not the Valois line, but the Orleans line, hence New Orleans. So you've got the birth of this new king. Now, there's some other stuff that is personal to me that I really don't want to talk about. It'll trigger, especially on YouTube. I don't want to talk about it on YouTube. I'll just put it that way. It's sensitive. It's inside sensitive shit that only a few people know. And it'll give away too much. But there was other events in my personal knowledge of people that I knew that were telling me things. I can say this much. It was a storyline about how the United States was going to be broken up into parts, and the southern states were going to crown a king. And I'll leave it at that. So all of this started coming together for me, especially after I learned astrology, and that to me the astrology I learned is not tropical or Vedic. It's not Eastern or Western. It's alchemy. To me, I see the alchemy. When I look at an astrology wheel, to me that's an alchemical wheel. I see earth, water, air, and fire, fixed, mutable, and cardinal. And that, I understand what that means. I understand the symbolism behind it and how different signs and symbols relate to each other, whether they oppose or complement, aspect each other. So that's how I'm coming up with these dates. This is what they're doing. Literally, I know it sounds odd, but they're making the heavens made an aleph symbol one way, earth symbol the other, and the X, the mutable cross, the cross we're on. And that's the only time that change really occurs. This is an age of change. It's an age of transmutation. It's supposed to be this way, but what's going on seems very unnatural. It is being deliberately initiated. It's not the way nature would do it. We're being corrupted. Our DNA is being corrupted. It most definitely is, as the days of Noah. Nobody can deny that fact. I'm having a Kelly issue. I need to pause. Sorry about that. I always lose my track when I have to pause for her because I just go blank about it. So what they're doing, apparently, is initiating a new mother. You're getting mRNA, a third strand of DNA, going back to the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Let me see if I can get a picture of that. Here's when she pushed the little blue ball on the blue pillow. She's got on, with her right hand, the little DNA strand runs up the tree. And there's 3 strands. Elizabeth Regina, and the second. And it lights a fire. And fire and air go together. Fire and air rituals go together. And water and earth rituals go together. And it's called the Beacon. They lit a beacon, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee Beacon event. There are videos about it. I suggest you watch one of them if you haven't already seen it. Now, again, all the symbolism, everything goes back to the royal family, to Britain, all of it. I think it started before I was even born. It was called the British Invasion back in the 60s. And they started with music, and they sent the Beatles over here, the Scarabs. I call them the Scarabs. They sent them over here. They sent an earth, water, air, and fire. When things coming forward, that's a cross. They were the mutable cross, which is funny because the beetle is actually a symbol of the fixed cross. And the symbolism as well. You have the unicorn and the lynx. It's a lynx, not a lion. He appears as a roaring lion, but they all have their tongues sticking out, which is a Kali symbol. The symbol of the destroyer sticks his tongue out. This is a symbol of Gemini. This is a symbol of Gemini. Over here, the dragon, another symbol of Gemini. The serpent with wings and the serpent without wings. The 2 serpents on the caduceus. On the X, the mutable cross. And it's all in the symbolism as well. Every bit of it. But this is where all of this has led me. The journey I've been on, the rabbit holes. I get harassed a lot about some of my older videos and that I should take them down. No, that's a revision of history. They stay. I've changed. We all have. Are you the same person you were 15, 20 years ago? No, you're not. None of us are. None of us are. We've all been transmuted. We were all initiated at 9/11 into the mysteries, into the secrets. And we've been down so many rabbit holes, and my life has been turned upside down so many times. I'm really tired of it all. I don't want it to happen. I'm tired of the change. I think we're all looking for stability, but the ground just quakes under our feet. And it's hard to stand sometimes. We all need each other through this. And we should all share. I encourage all of you to open your channels and put your story out there. Not for you. You don't even have to use your real name or your real face or nothing. Just, it's your story, and it can help somebody. It's your life. It's your journey. You should share it with the world. We've all learned something, and we've all got something to teach each other. And I'll give you this analogy before I close. If I give you $1 and you give me $1, then we still just each only have $1. But if I give you an idea and you give me an idea, then we both have 2 ideas, and it didn't cost us anything. That knowledge should be free. It should be shared openly. And if you've learned something, you should share that with the world. And that's really all I'm doing, is I'm documenting my journey, not just for you, but for myself. It helps me. There's so much information here that it can be overload. So it helps me to know that I'm not losing my mind. And if I ever have to reincarnate back to this place, maybe this information will make it into the future, and it won't be so hard next time, as it has been a lifelong effort for me. I started all this out in linguistics, and one thing led to another, and no matter which road I took, it all kept taking me back to the heavens. And the symbolism is in the heavens, the alchemy is in the heavens, and it all belongs to nature, and it's all perfectly natural. But what they're doing is very unnatural, and there's nothing we can do to fix it. That is something that's going to be done by the supernatural. So if we are at the days of Noah, if we are at the coming of the Son of Man, then this is a fact, that we've already had the millennium with the Son of God. Son of God and Son of Man are 2 different things. That means the millennium's done happened. The battle of Gog and Magog done happened. They're trying to repeat it. And Satan's bound for 1,000 years, and he's loosed for a short season. We're in the short season, and he's there to do one thing, to gather together the nations to the battle of Gog and Magog. Okay? The battle of DNA and mRNA is about what it amounts to. We're at the days of Noah. They are corrupting all flesh. They're doing it to the animals. They've GMO'd all the plants. Now they're going to GMO us, because the Supreme Court said DNA cannot be patented. So they have to introduce a manipulated DNA, and whatever company you got the Pope from, they now own you because you have new DNA. You've been transmuted. You're a teenage mutant ninja turtle now. A turtle, another animal that goes from the water to the land. And that's the feminine line. Water and earth. That frog is considered the feminine line. It's amphibious. I know this is a lot of information to hold on to, and it goes back really to me all the way to 9/11, but I really snapped at the BP oil spill because I knew what that meant. I knew it was a ritual. I knew it was an anointing. And they were getting ready to birth something. Okay, my Kelly's not doing well. I need to stop and deal with her again. I think we might have bad weather on the way. All right, people. Now for my quick little update, what I wanted to add to the end of this, because my life's being turned upside down again. I lost my job last week. We all got let go. AI took over the whole department I was in, and I tried to get on because I'm 1099 subcontracted. And I tried to get back in on the other line, doing what I did before with the company when I was in Las Vegas. But I have to have a phone to do that. I can't do it online. It requires a phone, and the one I got is a VoIP online, and it will only let you text, really. You can't talk on it. You can't hear anything, and it drops calls. So it's not really worth using, but great for a text. And I haven't had an actual phone in a long time, and I like not having a phone, but I feel like I'm being forced to get one because I've spent all week really updating my resume, getting it out. I have been for a while. I kind of knew things were getting bad. We were getting shorted at work, so I've been actively looking for another job. And I'm not able to do physical labor. That's just, I can barely take care of myself. So I need something I can do online. So if anybody's got any ideas about that, please throw something in the comments. Leave me a link or something. But otherwise, I am in need of assistance. I actually am fixing to be forced to get me a phone. I was just going to get something cheap, one of the little Walmarts, you buy the card thing, because I don't want a contract. But I don't have the money. And I want to cash in my Bitcoin. I've been doing the Bitcoin mining. It's up right now, so great time to cash it in, and I can get all this done. But I went to Coinbase, and I hadn't been on there in quite a long time, and they verified me, and I don't have a phone. And I literally can't even get into my Coinbase. So I either need somebody that I can shoot you some Bitcoin, and you can send it back to me through PayPal or something, because I'm kind of stuck here. My hands are tied. I need a new roommate if anybody's wanting to relocate, looking to just consolidate resources. We're all going to have to start doing this. The crunch is here. They're coming after the economy. Money's changing. Uranus is in Taurus now. Everything's going to change with the economy. And that's all going to be WEF stuff. And the other one is the WHO stuff. And it's all these alphabet agencies. All right, people. I'm going to cut it here. Y'all know what to do. Commit your random act of kindness. Stay in your upper chakras. Make each decision from your heart. Things are coming. I'm still expecting some kind of Pentecostal event to where in that days I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. And some are going to awaken to everlasting life, and some to shame and condemnation. But everybody's eyes are going to be opened. Eyes, all three. And I don't have a date for that. The dates, like I said, the dates I'm setting are those for what the elite are doing. All right. If my videos have helped you, won't you please help me keep them coming to you? And if you have a few extra dollars to kick my way or can help me out with a job or my Bitcoin, I really would appreciate it. It is much needed at this time.